grammar tenses, and up to this you all have knowledge of all the tenses, but today something new is going to be started, and that is this book. This NCERT book, now onwards this year you have this NCERT book, that is Honeydew, and this book is full of new stories, interesting stories with moral and fun. So today in this video you will find this book Honeydew, and I know that you all have this book. So up to this all that dances video you have studied, so now it will be easy for you to know the sentence pattern from this book. So this book has many poems and unit, 10 unit and 10 poems we have in this book. Today I am going to start unit number 1, that is the best Christmas present in the world. So this is also a beautiful story with moral, and this story takes place earlier, that in past, and in this story we have these characters. Here I have written those characters. These characters is Jim. Jim is a captain of English army. Second character is Connie, and that is Jim's wife. So this story revolves around these two characters, Jim and Connie. And what is the theme of this story? So this story takes place while when English versus German, means English army versus German army were fighting. At that time this story happened. So here you will find war, here you will find soldiers, here you will find fun, and you will find a letter which Jimmy has written for Connie, and narrator has passed that letter to Connie. So this is the glimpse of the story we are going to start. One more instruction for you is, while you are watching this video, please keep this book with you so that it will be interesting for you and it will be easier for you to understand each and every line of this story, or each and every new words of the story, as this unit is full of new words. Some of I have written here, and this is only paragraph number 1 new words. Here these 7 words are. So you will find many new words from this unit, so it will be convenient and it will be very much easy for you if you keep this book with you while you watch this video. This unit number 1 is on page number 9, and this unit is divided into 3 parts, part 1, 2 and 3. Maximum part of this lesson I try to cover in this video, and another part we'll do in next session. Let's start it. Here it is written before you read session. So in before you read session, some important dates are given. Means on that date this thing happened. On this date this thing happened. That is given in before you read session. So there are some, I am reading this before you read session. There are some dates of periods of time in the history of the world that are so significant that everyone knows and remembers them. So see, there are many significant and important dates which we know or which we remember. See, suppose 1947 15th August. So you all know what happened on that day. We got our freedom. We become independent. So we remember this day. We remember that Environment Day, we remember World Yoga Day. So some of the dates we remember because those dates are very famous. So here some list of those days or date is given. The story you will read mention one such date and event. So in this story you will see important date and important event. A war between British and the German in 1940. So here I have written already that a war between English or Britain, you can say German, in 1940. So this story took place when British were fighting with German in 1940. So the story is about that time. Can you guess which war it was? So now it is up to you to guess the name of those war. In box it is One activity has been given. Do you know which events the dates below refer to? So here 6 dates with your name has given, and answers are on page number 23, that is written. So refer that thing and get your answer. Okay, so now I am going to start this unit. Now part 1. Paragraph 1 I am reading from here. I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport on roll top desk. Here I means narrator. So whenever you find I is being used for narrator. So narrator is telling to us, means listener is us and speaker is narrator. The name of the narrator is not mentioned. So narrator means that author said that I spotted it in a junk shop in Bridport, a roll top desk. So he found something. Spotted word is here. So spotted it means saw it, found it. So that narrator found something from that junk shop in Bridport. Bridport is a name of that place. So in Bridport, narrator found something, and what was that? A roll top desk. It means a writing desk with a sliding cover. Means one type of table with sliding cover which we use in our study. So that kind of table narrator found in Bridport. The man said it was early 19th century and oak. So that man was there. One person was there, and he told narrator that this roll top desk, this table was made in early 19th century, and this table was made of oak tree. Oak is a name of tree. So in the wood from that tree, this table is made. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. Narrator wanted to buy that. So, but those tables, means those furniture and those things were very expensive. This one was in a bad condition. Means this table was not in that good condition. That table was in bad condition. The roll top in several pieces, and this desk was divided into several pieces. Means many damaged narrator found in this desk. This one leg clumsily mended, scorch marks all down one side, and this condition is here. This is the condition described of that desk. So how it was? So one leg clumsily mended. Clumsily means awkwardly, uncoordinated. So one leg of that table is broken, which was not working. And another thing, the scorch marks all down one side. Scorch marks means burn marks. Means that table was not in good condition, and we can say that table has some marks, that burn marks. That is the description of the table. It was going for very little money. So as we know, said that the table's condition was not good, so that table was not expensive. So narrator had not to pay much money for that. In less money, narrator could buy that table. I thought I could restore it. Restore word is given here. See, restore means repair. So narrator thought that he could repair that table. And another word we got here was going for. It is written I was going for very little money. Was selling for means for that narrator had to pay little money. So, and he also thought that he would repair, he would furnish this table very easily. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. But the condition of that table was not that much good, and the narrator was taking challenge of restoring that table. But then even narrator thought that he would love to take that challenge. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. So I began work on it on Christmas Eve. So narrator started working, means narrator started repairing that table, and he paid, first of all he paid, he just charged, he just gave money for that table, and he just took that table to his house and he put that table to his workroom at the back of the garage. That workroom was at the back of the garage, and he began work on it on Christmas Eve. And it was Christmas evening time, and narrator started working on that table. Means narrator started repairing that table. This is your first paragraph. Here that the first paragraph, new words have been written. You have 2 minutes to write this thing. Now another words. Now paragraph number 2. I removed the roll top completely and pulled out the drawers. So drawers were there. So what narrator did, narrator just pulled out those drawers. Pulled out means leave, or you can say clear out. And the veneer had lifted almost everywhere. Here we got one word, that is veneer. Veneer means a thin layer of plastic or decorative wood on furniture of cheap wood. Means suppose you have that study table at your house. So that upper part of the study table is made of whether plastic or decorative wood. Means colorful wood, which is generally cheap. So that cheap kind of wood is covered on your study desk. So that is called veneer. So when narrator just pulled out over the drawer, and at that time the veneer had lifted almost everywhere. Now I am on page number 10. It looked like water damage to me. Both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. So narrator was thinking that water and fire both damaged this table, both damaged this desk. So here we got one phrase, taken their toll on. It means damage. Taken their toll on. It means damage. Means that the fire and water both damaged that desk. The last drawer was stuck fast. So when he was checking that desk, at that time, as we know in picture we can see here there are 3 to 4 drawers in that desk. So when he was checking all those drawer at that time, when he was there at last drawer, so that last drawer was stuck fast. To stuck fast is another word, and stuck fast means to shut tight. So that last drawer was closed very tightly. I tried all I could ease it out gently. So narrator was trying to open that drawer. As the drawer was very tightly closed, so it couldn't be opened. So narrator forcefully trying to open that drawer, and here we got one word, that is ease out. Ease out means to remove. So he was trying to remove that drawer, or he was trying to open that door. In the end, I used brute force. So when he tried a lot, that drawer was not opening. So he just tried forcefully. So he just used brute force. Brute force means cruel force. Cruel, or you can say savage force. Means he just tried to open that door very forcefully, very powerfully. That is called brute force. I struck it sharply with the side of my fist, and the drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath, a secret drawer. So when he forcefully opened that door at that time, he struck very sharply the side of the fist. He just opened like this. He just did this, and that drawer was open, and the drawer flew open to reveal shallow space underneath. And what did he see? He saw that there was a secret drawer under that big drawer. So there was a secret place under that big door. There was something in there, and something is there. He found something in that secret drawer. I reached in and took out a small blank tin box. Sellotaped to the top of it was a piece of lined knot paper, and written on it in a shaky handwriting. So when narrator went towards that secret drawer, he saw that some papers with writing were there, and those papers were written in shaky handwriting. So he just saw that those papers, something like letters were there. Jim's last letter received January 25, 1915. So it was Jim's letter, and the letter was received on 25th January 1915 to be buried with me when the time comes. I knew as I did it, and it was wrong of me to open the box, but curiosity got the better of my scruples. So that's it. That desk was not belong to that narrator. And letter, of course, the letter was not that narrator's letter, so he should have not opened it. Morally, it was wrong to open someone else's letter. The thing, morally, it was wrong to use something which was not ours. But here, curiosity of knowing that thing, that what that letter was about, narrator started to read that letter. Here we got one word, that is scruples. Scruples means feelings that make you hesitate to do something wrong. Feelings that make you hesitate to do something wrong. It means when we do something wrong, when we are going to do something wrong, some feelings come to our mind and that feelings warn us not to do that thing. So those feelings which stop us to do something wrong is called scruples. You sometimes what happen in exam, you just don't know the answer of that question and you start thinking that let me copy this answer from other, or let me copy this answer from other book or from the friend. At that time one thought come to our mind, and that thought tell us that not to do or not to cheat. So that thought is called scruples. So here the narrator felt the same thing. Next paragraph. Inside the box there was an envelope. The address read Mrs. Jim McPherson, 12 Copper Beaches, Bridport, Dorset. So this address is written. There was one envelope, and on that envelope one address has been written. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in pencil and dated on the top December 26, 1914. So narrator just took out that letter and he just started reading that letter. So on that letter, the letter was written in pencil and date at the top part of the letter has been written, and that date was December 26, 1914. So this is part 1. Now from this we start part 2. So here I have written these new words. You have some time to write this in your book. So now part 2 is going to be started. So up to this what we have learned? We learned that narrator got one desk and he tried to open all the drawers of that desk. And one drawer was not opening, so he forcefully started opening that drawer. And what he just saw there, he saw one secret drawer in that drawer. And in that secret drawer he got one letter and one envelope and one letter. The letter was written on December 26, 1914. So up to this we have discussed. Now part 2. We are on page number 10. And now this letter is starting. Here in part 2 this letter has been started. Dearest Connie. So that letter has been written to Connie. And who has written that letter? Jim has written that letter to his wife Connie. Dearest Connie, I write to you in a much happier frame of mind because something wonderful has just happened and I must tell you about it at once. So Jim has written this letter and he was very happy to write that letter because he told that something good had happened there. Now what was that good? That will be discussed later. So here we got one phrase, that is a much happier frame of mind. A much happier frame of mind, it means in a good mood. The meaning of this phrase is in a good mood, or you can say in a pleasant mood, in a happy mood, in a very good mood. On page number 11, first line. We were all standing to in our trenches yesterday morning. So he was now describing the event and why he was happy, that he is describing in this part. So he just told that we all were. We means Jim. Jim was a captain of English army. So here when he was writing this letter, he was there in army. So he told that we were standing here. We means Jim and his army. So we were all standing to in our trenches yesterday morning. Standing to means taking a position. And another word we got is trenches. hide from the enemy. So this trenches is a place name, and it is a long deep ditches in the ground where soldiers hide from the enemy. Soldiers used to hide themselves from the attack of enemy. That place is called trenches. So we were all standing too in our trenches yesterday morning, Christmas morning, and it was Christmas time. It was crisp and quite all about, as beautiful a morning as I have ever seen, as cold and frosty as a Christmas morning should be. So it was time of Christmas, and that morning was something like different morning, pleasant morning it was. Narrator means Jim was telling that he had never experienced that kind of morning in his life, and it was crisp, it was cold, it was frosty, and like Christmas should be, means Christmas morning should like be this, that kind of morning that Jim was feeling. So here we got one word, that is crisp, another word we got is frosty. So number 17 is crisp, it means dry, and another word is frosty. Number 18, it means cold or chilly. Here you can say plain even, crispy means. So these words we got from this para. Now second para on page number 11. I should like to be able to tell you that we began it, but the truth I am ashamed to say is that Fritz began it. So here Fritz means a name of German soldier, a common German name. So German soldiers are known as Fritz at that time. So begin it means begin starting fighting, begin that fight. So Fritz means a name for a German soldier. As we know, the story is about war of English versus German. So Fritz means a name for a German soldier. So they started that fighting, they started war, and Fritz means that other part army has started that. First someone saw a white flag waving from the trenches opposite. So they were waving white flag. Then they were calling out to us from across no man's land, Happy Christmas Tommy. And Tommy is a common English name used for British soldier. A common name used for British soldier. So for German soldier we have Fritz name, and for British soldier we have Tommy name. So someone was waving white flag from other side of the hill, and they were telling Happy Christmas to Tommy. Happy Christmas. When we had got over the surprise, some of us shouted back, same to you Fritz, same to you. I thought that would be that. We all did. Means that other party, means that other army was not trying to attack on British, but they were calling or they were greeting them Happy Christmas. And here on the other hand, these English or British soldiers also greeted them Happy Christmas. And here that Jim thought that would be that. We all did, but then suddenly one of them was up there in and waving a white flag. Don't shoot, lad, someone shouted. Suddenly what he saw that one man with grey coat was coming toward British army, and at that time Jim just ordered not to shoot. Someone shouted, and no one did. Then there was another Fritz up on the parapet, and another. Keep your heads down, I told the man, it's a trick. But it wasn't. So when we saw that our enemy is coming toward us with army, at that time of course we do feel fear, and we do feel that it is a trick of them. It is something like that trick to just defeat us. So here that German army with his captain in grey coat was coming toward British army, and that British army captain told his army men not to shoot, and he thought that it was a trick to defeat us, it was a trick to attack on us. So here we have completed that second paragraph. You have here these new words. You have some time to note down this word. Now Jim was thinking that that German soldier with his army is coming to attack on them, but it was not a trick. That is the last sentence of this paragraph. So what was that? Why those German army with soldiers with their uniform came to Jim, and why they came all of a sudden? So here we got one. That would be that. And the meaning is that was all. One of the Germans was waving a bottle above his head. It is Christmas Day, Tommy. We have snacks and we have sausage. We meet you? Yes. So now what is the matter? Now they were coming to celebrate Christmas. So that German army soldier told that it was Christmas, Tommy, and we have schnappers, we have sausages, and they wanted to celebrate that Christmas. See, enemy was coming to celebrate Christmas with opposite party. So wasn't it interesting? Yes, it was. So here we have one word, schnappers. And this schnappers means it is a German drink made from grain. From grain this drink is made. So they told that we have schnappers, we have sausage. Sausage means meat. We meet you? Yes. And they asked to meet them. By this time there were dozens of them walking towards us across no man's land, and not a rifle between them. See, they were coming to celebrate that Christmas with schnappers and with sausage. And the most interesting thing, most positive thing was they didn't have weapons with them. It means their ideas were clear. They were not going to attack on Britishers. Little Private Morris was the first up. Come on boys, what are we waiting for? And then there was no stopping them. So Morris, the name of a person, means captain. That Morris is a name of like captain. So Morris ordered those army that come on, we should not wait for anyone. And I should have stopped them. And stopping them. I was the officer, I should have stopped them there and then I suppose, but the truth is that it never been occurred to me I should. All along their lines and hours, I could see men walking slowly towards one another, grey coats, khaki coats meeting in the middle. So here Jim was telling that Jim was the captain of that army. So Jim thought that he should have stopped those army who was coming to him. But he shouldn't. He shouldn't have stopped them. So that army with khaki coats, that army with grey coats came to middle part of the ground, and I was one of them. I was part of this. In the middle of the war we were making peace. So see, that army was, means that German army was coming to celebrate Christmas. It means they wanted peace. They didn't want any kind of war. They didn't want any kind of enmity. They didn't want any kind of struggle, dispute and argument, nothing. They wanted to celebrate Christmas. It means they wanted peace. So they have started or they have initiated that peace. And now it was turn of English army. Now it was turn of English army to just support them. I am on page number 11, last paragraph. You cannot imagine, dearest Connie, my feelings as I looked into the eyes of the Fritz officer who approached me and hand outstretched. So now Fritz was just before that Jim, and Jim was just surprised to see that, and that who approached me had outstretched hands. Wolf, he said, gripping my hand warmly and holding it. I am from that Dusseldorf. I play the cello in the orchestra. Happy Christmas. So that army officer was standing before Jim, and the name of that army officer is Hans Wolf. And he introduced himself. He told that he was from Dusseldorf, and he just told that he played cello. Cello is a musical instrument like violin. So that's what he got here. A musical instrument like a large violin. So he introduced himself that he played cello in orchestra, and he said Happy Christmas. Now I am on page number 12. Captain Jim Macpherson, I replied, and a happy Christmas to you too. I am a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. So here Jim just introduced himself. See that German soldier who introduced himself, the name of that soldier is Hans Wolf. So this we got another character. This is Jim, this is Connie, and here it is Hans. And Jim also introduced himself. He told that he was Captain Jim Macpherson. He replied, and a happy Christmas to you too. I am school teacher from Dorset. See that this Hans Wolf was that cello player, and he used to play orchestra. Then even he was serving his nation in the army. And here our Jim was a school teacher from Dorset in the west of England. So here these two people introduced themselves in the middle of war, and this army was not for fighting, was not for that fight. They just were there just to celebrate that Christmas. So I think now this is for today. This unit is very long, so we'll do another part in next video. You have 23 new words here, and we have just completed part 1 and half part 2. So now it's time to give you homework. In another video we will see what happened, how they celebrated Christmas, did they give Christmas gift to each other, and many interesting things you will find about Jim and about Hans Wolf, and who is Connie, what is the role of Connie in this unit. That is very interesting thing, and that will be learned in next video. Now it's time to give you homework. Your homework is, here you have 23 new words. So you have to write first 10 new words in your book, means homework book. See, one instruction for you all is, you have to make a fair book of English subject. In that fair book, you have to write each and every word which I write here. So up to this means 23 new words must be there in your notebook. After completing this story, we'll discuss, means whenever we get time, we'll discuss question answers, and you have to write those question answer in your English fair book. So what to do, you have to make a notebook, and new words with question answer you have to write in that your notebook, and your notebook will be checked. So this is for today. We'll meet again in next video. Till then, take care. Thank you.